All right, this is singly the most important in this technique. This is one of the deals where your setup, your rods and your reels is going to index way lower on priority level than actually knowing where to look. Knowing where to look is even more important than knowing how to use your graphs. Okay, this is so important. So I'm gonna have to spend, for this, you're gonna spend a lot of time actually not fishing. There's no need to fish until you start to mark two things. Really just one thing. It's bait. I'm gonna take that back. Three things: bait, structure, or fish. All right. Sometimes I find bait and I won't find fish, but then when I stop and I get on the trolling motor, I see fish. Sometimes I find structure and I don't see anything, and then I get on the trolling motor and I start milling around the structure, and then I find fish. You always look in high percentage places. What our mapping and our fishing electronics do is allow us to see things that we can't visually see with our eyes. When I'm fishing the bank in a creek, I can visually see the laydowns, the points, the structures, the islands, the rocks. What our graphs is doing is showing us where in 30 foot where the islands are, where the steep banks are, where the flats are, where the brush is, where the rocks are. That's what our electronics are for, okay? It just lets you, what you're visually seeing, you now have the ability to see things that you cannot see. So let's take, for instance, let's just find a random place. You can see I've been fishing right here. Let's zoom in. You see this entire thing right here is nothing but a huge island. It's no different than what you see on the bank over here to the right side of me, but it's in 20 foot of water. You would never know that unless you had mapping. Just a big island. And so in the same way that I would fish a visible island, I'm going to fish this invisible island to the naked eye. I'm going to look for the steeper sides. I'm going to look for where the river channel sweeps up beside the island. You see where these contour lines are really close together? That's steep. You look on this side over here, that's flat. The farther the contour lines are apart, the flatter that area is. The closer the contour lines are together, the steeper the banks. That means from shallow right here to deep. We're going from shallow to deep in a shorter span than on this side of this particular island. In the wintertime, typically what I'm looking for is the steeper sides. I'm gonna zoom out and you can see. When you look at this whole big island right here, there's about 3 or 4 places that stick out automatically. Look, right here. You see where it gets really steep right in here? You even have like what we call a drain, where it's steep, 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 and then it cuts back in right here. That's a drain, an underwater drain. That's all that is. The same thing that you see on the bank where you see a little cove on the bank. These underwater islands have coves too. It's just that cove is in 30 foot of water. It's the same thing that you visually see with your eye. If you come out here to this point, that's the hot spot. Right out here on the tip of that point. It's steep out here, and it narrows, and it necks down, and look what's right next to it. The creek channel. High percentage. So you can see, old boy got a couple green dots out here. That's where we're gonna fish. That's what you need to spend your time looking for when you're looking for deeper fish. I don't care what body of water you're on. Your rod, reels, baits are gonna come in second in command to knowing what to look for, like this right here. Deep water fishing can be intimidating, but listen, simplify everything. Think about the visual targets just like you would see on the lake. That's what you're using your electronics to look for. Now, if you're more interested in seeing what the fish look like on the graph and going into more details on electronics, check out my fishing electronics playlist on YouTube, where I'll dive into more of what the fish actually look like on the graph. We didn't get into that much today, but if I did a video specifically showing you what fish look like, the settings I like to use, and how I set up my electronics so I can catch fish in deeper water. Check that out. I promise you, you're gonna grow to love catching fish in deeper water.